We are in the home stretch now, people. All that's left to get Misty road legal again is to sort out this rear brake. If you're new to the channel, Misty is our Toyota MR2, which we bought for an amazingly cheap price a few years back. She did have a few issues, including some crash damage. We worked through most of those and got her ready to be our wedding car, and then spent the rest of the summer driving and enjoying her. There were still a few issues remaining, the main one being the gearbox. Fifth gear was completely ruined. So we took her off the road, dropped the engine, did some maintenance on the engine while it was out, did the timing belt, sourced a new gearbox, put the new gearbox with the engine back into the car, got that all buttoned up, and then wanted to get her back on the road. In the UK, we have what's called the MOT, which is an annual safety and emissions test. She failed that, unfortunately, mostly on brakes. There was also a wheel bearing, so that's the current goal, is to fix all those issues. Now, last time I worked on this rear brake, I installed the new caliper onto the old rusty bracket and called it a day. But then I repainted the bracket for the front and it just looked so good, I had to do the rear as well, so I whipped it out, gave that a nice lick of paint and a clean up. So now it's time to put it back together and get it on the car. Before I get the caliper back in the car, we need to talk about brake hoses. Last time I had those aftermarket hoses with the crappy 3D printed bracket that didn't hold the bolt. I sent those back, got a full refund. The company were actually really cool about it. They said they're going to investigate the bracket situation, see if they could find something better. The brackets weren't actually theirs, they bought them from Hell, who are a respected company, but to me it just seems like a crappy design that would never have worked. I've now got a hose from Blueprint, which pretty much matches the original one, including a nice solid metal bracket. So I'm going to get that hose in, ready to accept the caliper. Got me a nice new hose with a nice metal bracket. Get that connected up to the brake line first, and then tighten it all up to the car. So just tighten that by hand. I'm going to bolt this in and then I'll tighten it up with a spanner. There's one. May have spoken too soon about this bracket. It's not wanting to line up with my holes properly. I suppose if it's not fighting you every step of the way, is it even a project car? Ugh. This should not be this difficult. Okay, I think that one's threaded now. But the other one's not looking great. These two bolts should not be this difficult. It just doesn't want to go. Why can't anything be easy? If I tighten this up, that should pull it down. Let's try that. Okay, this is helping. But that's now bottomed out. And it's still not enough. Bastard! One could argue that one bolt is enough, but I will not be happy with that. I need to get both these bolts in. If I can just catch a couple of threads properly, that'll be enough. Maybe I need to pull this bracket in, maybe that'll help. Let's give it a try. That has done nothing. That was a bad idea. I really don't want to cross thread this. Okay, this could be cross threaded, it might not. Let's just see how it feels. It's in, okay. That was way too hard. Click. Beep, 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 beep. Cinch this bad boy up. So look at that, I can tighten it and the bracket holds because it's made of metal. Oof, that sucked. 12.5 minutes that took, looking at my camera. On to the next bit. Time to get the rear brake caliper on. So, it's roughly in position. See if I can get a bolt lined up. Get the other one in. Those two big boys need to be torqued to 88. This one back here needs to be torqued to 20, and the hose to 30, and then I need to get this doodle back in for the handbrake. Now, if you've ever watched our videos and wondered why I show so much footage of me torquing up bolts, there's actually a very good reason for it, and it's because I know that my stupid brain is going to go home tonight and be like, did I torque up that bolt? Whereas now I can just go to YouTube and see, yes, I did torque up that bolt. One. There we go. Bloody chunder. Now it's time to get the hose in, and if you remember last time, the hose was kind of oriented awkwardly. That meant it wouldn't actually line up to the caliper. So hopefully this new hose, seeing as it seems to be identical to the old one, will work. Bolt with 2 washers, and it's got this little like alignment pin that should slot into a hole on the caliper, I believe. Appreciate you probably can't see anything, but if it makes you feel any better, neither can I. Then I'll just need to tighten this one to 30 Newton meters, put the clip on there, and then test it. Oh, and the handbrake mechanism. Mustn't forget that. Oh, that was hard work. Awkward position, but done. This just needs to drop in and clip in. Just like that. And then that goes in. Which way is it? That way, I think. Yeah, that makes sense. We're nearly done. I say we. You guys have been no help at all. There we go. Good and tight. Right, now for the handbrake. So, try and get the handbrake mechanism in. Oh no. I think I need a new one of, yeah, this rubber boot. I don't know if that'll be a failure. No, let's hope not. If I can just get it enough to get the pin to drop in. Like so. So now I've just got to get this split pin on the underside of this pin here. And that's going to be awkward as hell because I can't see shit. So I'm just going to move you over a bit and get low. Okay, it's going. Ah, you bumhole. Where'd that go? Did anyone see where that went? It wasn't easy, but finally got the pin in, so this brake is now sorted. Just time to make sure the handbrake works, and we're good. Right, this is handbrake off. Now, I don't know if I need to do it a few times to get the self-adjuster to go in, but I'm going to put the handbrake on, see if it stops the wheels, maybe do it a few times over, and hopefully eventually the wheels will stop. Handbrake on. Nothing. I can see it's moving the arm, so I'm guessing the self-adjuster just needs to adjust. Just pump the lever like 4 times and that has made no difference. This is not ideal. I don't even know how many times I pumped it then and absolutely no difference. This is not working. Done some Googling and it turns out that the handbrake self-adjusting mechanism-y doodle won't actually work unless the pads are already, fairly well engaged on the disc. So it seems I need to refill and bleed the system first before I can get the handbrake working. It is a risk because of course then if that doesn't work and I do need to take the piston back off, I have to bleed it all again. But I've read a lot of people specifically with these MR2s that is what needs to happen. So that's what I'm going to do next. That is the wrong size for that bleed nipple. Just realised this is stupid because I can't see if there's any bubbles in the fluid. Right, I'm hoping this 90-degree adapter will solve my issues. Might be pulling the air through first though, because this is in a very drained system. Right, so close it up and check the reservoir. So after a few more pumps of pure air, I've finally got to see a little bit of fluid coming through. So I remember I was doing it wrong. I should be building up the vacuum first and then opening the bleeder. So that's what I'm doing now. So now hopefully we should get a bit more fluid this time. Yeah, I can see little bits coming through, not much. A lot of air in the system because obviously I left it disconnected for ages and that's a new hose. And obviously new caliper as well, so both of those things are full of air. It's starting to get somewhere now, we're getting more fluid and less bubbles, so let's just do another one. There we go. Still a lot of air in there, but definitely getting there. I don't want to jinx it, but so far I've managed not to let the reservoir run dry. So now I need to empty this doodle and carry on. Right, pretty sure this one's done now. There was no bubbles coming through last time. Hopefully you can see. If I kind of move it up a bit for you, do that. Open her up. Oh, we've got a little bubble there. There's not many though. This will be the last thing I show you of brake bleeding because the other 4 wheels are basically the same. I'll probably do one more on this brake just to make sure. Actually, I'll probably do all 4 and then come back and do all 4 again just to make sure. That makes more sense to me. That's it. All the brakes are now bled. It went surprisingly easily. The only literal spanner in the works was that the other rear wheel had a 7mm on the bleed nipple, and I don't have a 7mm spanner. Luckily, my next door neighbour had one that I could borrow, and there's a snap-on as well. Oh, they are fancy. As a bonus, I've also now got a handbrake. Check this out. Wheel goes spin, handbrake on. Wheel don't spin anymore. Pedal feel is really good. Obviously I haven't taken her out on the road yet, but I'm pretty optimistic. So just need to get wheels back on, torque up this nut, torque up some of the suspension bolts that still need doing, get her out on the road, see how she brakes. My new wheel bearing actually came with a replacement hub nut, but the thing is, it doesn't have any way for this pin to sort of index on it, whereas the original one, you have the nut and then you have this sort of hat that goes on top, which allows the split pin to lock it in place. It's almost like they looked at that, didn't really understand what it was and made that, which is kind of similar but doesn't work. So I'm going to reuse this one because then at least it can be locked in place with a split pin. Don't trust that. Now here's a good test of my handbrake. Handbrake is not quite good enough. That's a problem. So that's another couple of clicks on the handbrake. If this doesn't do it, nothing will. No, it's better, but still not enough. So the other option is to get the wheels on the ground, remove the center cap and tighten it up that way. That was way too much of a kerfuffle just to do up one bolt. But it is done. Everything now on this car is all torqued up and ready to go. And there we have it. Back on her wheels, pretty much ready for an MOT. All I need to do is take her out and actually try the brakes and make sure they are working and possibly rebleed them if they do need it. And I need to make sure that the right headlight aim is correct. Long-time viewers may have noticed something I did in the last video that I've never done before. I asked people to like the video. Now, I just find it a bit awkward asking people to do stuff like that, but I am also a man of science and believe in experiments, so I thought I had to try, and lo and behold, in terms of likes to views ratio, that video did better than any video we've ever done before. I mean, in terms of pure views, the video bombed, but, you know, it had a lot of likes at least. So it makes me kind of understand why people do that. For whatever reason, YouTube has stopped pushing our videos out there. I personally have no illusions to become a full-time professional YouTuber. I mean, I wouldn't say no if the opportunity presented itself. I mean, working on cars and making videos are two things I love doing. So if I could do that full-time, it'd be great, but I'm not pushing for that. But I am going to start asking for these things to try and just help spread the channel around, because, you know, we put a lot of effort into these videos and I'm proud of most of them. I'd like more people to see them. We have nearly 6,000 subscribers and yet most of our videos do 1,000 to 2,000 views. And a lot of those from people who aren't even subscribed. We frequently get comments from people who are like, oh, we've been subscribed for years, didn't realize you were still making videos. For whatever reason, the almighty algorithm just doesn't really like us. So I'm gonna start saying things like, if you enjoyed this video, click the like button. It probably helps. If you're not subscribed, try subscribing. That way you get kept up to date with what we're doing. You can even click the little bell thing if you want, but personally I don't bother with that, but you might like it. And leave a comment. I mean, I really try to reply to everyone. I miss some, I know, but probably 95% of comments will get a reply. So if you've got anything to say, even if it's just to tell me I'm an idiot and I did it wrong, it's all engagement, it all feeds the machine, so bring it on. But most importantly, I would say, if you know anyone who you think might enjoy these videos, or if, say, you're a member of a group that might enjoy them, tell them, spread them around. Just, it'd be nice to get more people to see what it is we're doing. Thank you as always to our lovely Patreons who help keep us supplied with tea, and welcome aboard our newest Patreon, Bagatronsky. Great to have you on board. Hope you enjoy what we continue doing. I know I did say this video was going to be the MOT one, but I already had so much stuff to edit, I decided to split it into two. So as I film this, the MOT hasn't happened yet, but it is going to be happening soon. That'll be the next video when it's available. You can watch it here. Until then, you can always try the old random number generator pretending to be AI and check out the recommendation here. Thanks for watching. See you next time.